a little bit about you, and I want this to be interactive. I do want you to ask questions. I may not have all the answers for you, but I will definitely get you the answers. The Keller Williams is such an amazing company. When I started in real estate, I didn't start with Keller Williams. Have all of you, is this your original company? Did you start anywhere else?
I have not.
No.
No? Good. Well, you good. You chose the right company, honestly. I can tell you, I didn't have these tools when I first started in real estate. And so I did a lot of, you probably don't know this yet. I don't know. We'll find out where you guys are all in your career, how long you've been in real estate. But they have what's called we'll learn this later on, but realtors tend to do this a lot in real estate. We get going, we create a lot of activities, and then we stop. It's like, when you stop and start at a stop sign or a stop light, you're at the light and you have to stop and then you have to accelerate again. And what this is going to teach you is to not do this, but to keep like a normal little, progression. Because it's no fun when you're like, you're going really fast, and then you're doing it, you're creating everything. And then when you take it off, then you're like, oh man, okay, I got paid. Now I got to create more activities, right? This right here, what this is going to teach you is how to do this steady all the way through. So you're getting constant, business coming in. I am also on the ALC. Do you guys know what that stands for?
No.
Okay, so I represent the Agent Leadership Council. That's what the ALC is. I know Keller Williams has a ton of acronyms. So ALC is the Agent Leadership Council. And so I'm on that, and I'm a co-chair with, her name's Michelle, but for the training and things like that, the education, which is a new thing for me again. It's one thing in this business, you grow and change. And the way to be proficient in something is to teach it. So I'm stepping out. And I'm also in the mentor-mentee program. So I'm a mentor for some new agents, and I think one of my new agents is on here. But anyway, I want to know a little bit about you guys. I want to know how long you've been in real estate. And so Amanda, I'm going to start with you because you're the first in my upper left corner. So here's the questions. Introduce yourself, how long you've been in real estate, and why did you get into real estate?
So my name's Amanda. I've been with Keller Williams for about a month and a half, and
Yay.
Yeah, so brand new. But the reason I got in is I actually was a tour guide and lost my job because of COVID, and just had to think of a different career path. And with the extra unemployment, I thought, well, I might as well invest in myself and do something. And so real estate is something I've always thought about. And so I went with it, and here I am.
Good for you.
Yeah, thanks.
Good. Yeah. Well, congratulations. And then let's see, I think I have Laura next.
Hi, so I've been with Keller for a month, and like Amanda, I lost my job because of COVID. I've been managing a busy bar downtown for 10 years. And then I had bought a house a few years ago and was kind of interested in real estate. I know a lot of people involved, so I was like, well, might as well just give it a shot.
Good for you.
But I didn't have a goal, so this is my goal.
Good. Well, and that's the cool thing is with Keller Williams too, they're going to teach you how to set goals and stick with them and achieve those goals. So,
Right.
And you'll learn that a lot throughout this whole Ignite session. So congratulations. This is exciting.
Well,
wow. Okay. So Junko and Ed.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
My name is Junko, and I actually have been working for Redfin as a tour guide. I mean, showing homes for the last 4 years. But then my husband joined, he got a license, and we decided to work as a team for our second life, I guess.
Yeah.
Right. As you can tell, we're a husband and wife team. This is Ed. I actually come from like the tech community, and I've been actually buying and kind of selling real estate as an investor and for maybe 23 years or so. So really interested from the outside to actually do the business. And so super excited to actually doing this sort of period of new renewals, sort of renewing your life and doing new things. So we decided to join forces and jump into Keller Williams as agents. So super excited about that.
Oh, wow. Congratulations. Junko, how long have you been doing real estate?
Well, last about 4 years.
Did
For
you
showing
only
as
show, your name looks so familiar to me.
Oh,
I don't
really?
know if we ever did a transaction together. I've seen your name before, so.
Oh, maybe I leave my card at the, every home.
Okay, oh, probably.
See?
Okay, gotcha. Cool, well, congratulations. I'm excited. Don't take this the wrong way. I'm glad that you left Redfin and came to Keller Williams. I don't want to, I better not say this out loud. This might be taped, but they're kind of our nemesis. No, like, sorry, they're our kryptonite. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, well, welcome. I'm super excited for you guys. So Kevin, you're next. Kevin Yannick.
Hey, I'm Kevin. I've been with Keller Williams in real estate in general for about 6 months now. I did take Ignites about, what was it, July or so.
Okay, so you would know. Somebody asked me the question when this was first taught. Did you? So it was back about 6 months ago?
Yeah,
Probably.
yeah, about July or August or so.
Yeah. Okay. Because I didn't know that. So cool.
But yeah, it's great. There's so much, so much education, and it's just a lot to take in, and just soaking it all up. So I'm loving it. I think it's great. Got a couple transactions under my belt, and
Oh, good.
yeah, I came from the bar industry and the car industry, and this is just something I've always wanted to do, and finally had the time, and I've saved up to pursue it. So,
Good. Do
yeah.
you guys have like a big why of why? I mean, like some people will say, when I got into real estate, I was just, I worked a career for 21 years. I worked for Costco. I worked for them, fresh out of high school, and was with them, like I said, 21 years. And real estate has always been a passion for me, always. And I finally just decided in 05, I was like, okay, I got to do this. And for me, I was like, I'm already out here, loving looking at homes. And, I was always going to open houses. I was dragging my husband to open houses all the time. And he's like, could you just get your license? I don't want to see another house. So I finally got my license and just left Costco and took the leap. So it's really commendable. I know some of you had to do it kind of you didn't really have a choice because of COVID. And so I really, really commend you for stepping out and taking on something new. But sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Kevin, but do you have what was your reasoning for getting into real estate?
I've always wanted to do it. I actually wanted to do it about 2008, and that was like really when the market took a big crash. And so
I remember well.
So I was just stuck with bartending, and then I wanted to get into sales. So I did cars for about 8 years, and I want to get into this because I like helping people more. Just with that good, I don't know.
It's kind of a high, isn't it? There's like it's a good high. It really is. It's really exciting when you get to give them their keys, when you're showing them the houses, finding out what they like, they don't like. I think it really feels good. Don't you agree? Like, wow, I really did something to better their lives.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love it.
Cool. Well, congratulations. And then I see Joshua next. You have to unmute, Joshua.
Sorry. Not unlike the handful before. I lost my job with COVID. I was in healthcare and a healthcare administrator for the last 10 years. And I had a passion to get into real estate when I was like 18, and I didn't have any money. And so I was like, I can't make this happen because I can't wait to make my first deal. But with everything that was going on, it was the opportunity. And while I was looking for jobs, I said, why not? And so, yeah, I'm full in, and I'm excited because the same reason I got into healthcare, I'm also a pastor in my church. It's to help people, and to help people like move into that next step, whatever that is. So I feel like I get to still do that with real estate, whether that's, selling your home for whatever reason or trying to find your next home. Like being able to do that just excites me.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's awesome. Good. So exciting. Okay. Let's see who's next. Let me go over here, and I have Heather.
Couple Heathers.
Oh, sorry, Heather Dewey. Sorry, Heather
Hi.
Dewey.
Yeah, my name is Heather Dewey. Joshua, we have a similar story. I'm in healthcare. I'm still currently in healthcare. I'm an RN, kind of transitioning. I had been really interested in real estate, prior to COVID, and had actually started those classes prior to this year. And just with COVID, I just did it really slowly because it was just a struggle to get everything done. But here I am. I've been with Keller Williams for a couple months now, and kind of trying to cut my hours a little bit over there and do something that's, helping people, but also something more for myself. I really, really am interested in this. So, yeah.
That's cool. Well, welcome. And you said how long have you been? How many months?
Maybe 3 months.
Okay. Well, cool. Awesome. Good job.
Thanks.
Congratulations. And Miss Susan Larson.
I can't believe how many people have the same story.
I know.
Count me in. So yeah, I've been like Tracy. Tracy is my mentor, by the way. So yay. Good job for being the very first trainer. Way to go. Starting out at the top. So I like Tracy, have been passionate about real estate since before I could remember. Though I just started a little over 2 months ago, I guess. It's in October. Seems like way longer than that already. And I just always also like Tracy, was just, I want to go look at houses. I just, look at that, look at this neighborhood. It's ridiculous. And my kids are like, just stop. I don't want to hear it anymore. But anyway, so after a long career in essentially like marketing communications, event planning, program management, primarily for nonprofits. I was a partnership director for an education nonprofit for the last 12 years. I was on this very long job search that kept coming up empty, and I was very frustrated. And finally, literally due to COVID, like so many of you, it was kind of finally the opportunity. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I think this is finally it. And timing and money was always a thing. Like, how do you just leave a regular job and jump in, and literally because of COVID and unemployment, like some of you are saying, like, hey, this is finally it. So for me, it was a big deal to like, oh my gosh, I'm finally going to do this. And my why, really my reasoning, other than loving houses, really primarily is I love people, and I love helping people, and I love helping people solve problems and discover their own potential and their own dreams. And houses in their home and where they're going to live and building their financial future is such a huge thing. So yeah, for me, it just seems to combine so many things of what I love to do, what I've built skill in my whole career, and stuff like that. So I don't have I've been showing houses for other agents a little bit, and then just this last weekend I actually showed for I would say one of my first actual clients, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I finally get to do that. So I don't have any, it's still a long game, but yeah, so far I absolutely love it.
Cool. Yay. All right, Heather Hamilton.
So I'm Heather. I've been with Keller for maybe a month and a half. I'm actually coming from retail management. I didn't lose my job with COVID. I actually got burnt out with COVID. It was definitely time to make a change. And my husband and I were talking about what we love to do and where we would like to go with that. And real estate was it. We real estate all the time. And even after we found our forever home, what we think of as our forever home, we started shopping for other people. So I decided to get licensed and really shop for other people. And so that's why I'm here.
Cool. Well, welcome. And so now your husband also got licensed, so you guys are doing it together?
He's not licensed yet. He has been our primary breadwinner for a long time. So until I get really established, he can't really make that jump yet.
Gotcha.
But hopefully in the future he will.
Cool. Okay. Well, wonderful. Well, you're starting off right by starting these with Ignite. It really will help you get the right tools to get you in that direction, right? To get you to that's what Spark is. Spark is to set that fire in you and give you the tools, because they want you to have a buyer within your first 2 weeks, buyer or a listing, a potential listing or buyer within the first 2 weeks of this course. So it's going to be a little bit intense, and it's going to stretch and grow you. Okay. Because think about it. Do you guys, you probably don't even know how to write a contract yet, right? Does it, I know there's the one gentleman who'd done it, but so it's going to kind of get you to practice, writing offers just on other, listings out there, getting you out there to preview homes that want you to, you're going to do 10 houses a week, which seems like a lot, but especially right now with inventory so low, so you may only be able to do like 5 houses this week, whatnot. But it's really good. They, like I said, I came from a different company and they did not have these tools, and so you're really I can't say it enough. You are really starting at the right place. Okay. Well, welcome, Miss Heather. Thank you so much. Lexi, your turn.
So I have been working for the Rosie Work team for over a year now. So I've been licensed since I started just working as an admin, as a listing coordinator. I graduated from college 2 years ago. So I started right out of college and I just had no idea what I wanted to do. So I just figured an admin position would be good. I didn't necessarily have an interest in real estate. My parents have flipped houses, but I was like, I graduated with a degree in fashion marketing. So I wasn't really sure. And ever since being on this team, I've just fallen in love with the client relationships and being able to go to see all these awesome houses. And it's just so rewarding, like you said, giving someone their keys and seeing the transaction completely go through. It's completely just changed where I thought I'd be in my career. So now I am switching from listing coordinator to be a buyer's agent. So
good for you. Good for you. Wow. Cool. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
All right, it's Alec. You're next.
Hi, so I'm Alec. I have been at Keller Williams now for just over a year, but I've only had my license. It was in October that I got it. So during the rest of the year, I've just been working as an ISA. So I've been able to, it's a good opportunity for me to learn, a lot of the different parts of the job and just kind of how it works in the real estate world. One of the biggest reasons I got into this was after I graduated from Washington State University, had an English degree, I had a little bit of interest in real estate. In the past I had worked with my aunt who flips a lot of homes up north in the Snohomish area. And then my dad has been in real estate for over 30 years. So that was kind of the main reason for me to get into it. I really like working, on teams. I've played sports since I was a little kid. So working on a team here has been probably one of my favorite parts of it. And I think we have a lot of good resources as far as transitioning from an ISA into an agent. So that's been really great. But yeah, that's kind of a little bit about my path into real estate.
Cool. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
The best. What team are you on, Alec?
I'm on the My Puget Sound Homes team.
Okay. I know who that is. That's is that David Berg?
No, that's Dan Dennis and Cheryl Dennis.
Yeah, that's right. Dan. Okay, got it. Well, welcome. Exciting.
Thank you.
Hey, Ashley.
Hi. Good morning, everybody. So I have just a little bit of a different story, but just kind of the same resounding theme though. So I actually this year decided to take a leap of faith. I left a 10-year career in corporate finance. I wanted to jump, and it was really important to me to slowly kind of start getting into a career path that really was more in alignment with my personal values and goals for life. And not that I didn't love what I did before, but I was very much in a box. And as much as I wanted to help and show up for my clients there, it was very limited. And the investment that I was making was building someone else's dream and not necessarily mine. So that was a huge push for me, is to take that leap. I have some family members that are in real estate, and the freedom that I was able to witness them, accomplish in their life, financial freedom, the time, just the overall capacity was really attractive to me. And then I had just heard overwhelmingly amazing things about Keller Williams and the culture and how they choose to do business, and that really resounded with me. And so that really pushed me to take the leap of faith. And yeah, so I was able to join actually today is my 2 months with Keller Williams.
Congratulations. Yay. Good. Well, welcome. Okay, let's see. Who did I miss? Did Kylan, did you go? And then I have iPad.
No, I haven't gone yet.
Okay.
Sorry, I have a weird headset on. My kid's doing a Zoom class.
Oh, good. Oh, no, I get it. It's okay. So it's just, did you hear, like, you just introduced yourself? Okay, cool. All right.
Yeah, I started real estate at the beginning of November. I worked for and with developmentally disabled people for 11 years before this. And I have a friend who works for Keller Williams and helped us buy our first home in July. So I kind of fell in love with the process. He kind of helped, let me kind of in on it more than usual because we've been friends for a long time. So he kind of walked me through it and showed me the process of it and how much he was kind of helping people. And it just was exciting and something that I was interested in getting into. So.
Wow. So are you doing both jobs then, your other job and this, or are you just completely, done with the other one?
Nope, I left my other job, yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well,
welcome. Full time.
Yeah. All right. Well, good for you. Jumping in with both feet. Good for you. That's what I had to do. So this other person's name it just shows up as iPad. I don't know who that is. Oh, right there. There you are. And then unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. You don't know how to unmute yourself. Let's see. Let me see if I can. I can't unmute you. It's okay. Don't worry. Go to. I don't have any automatic way to unmute you. Well, that's all right. Welcome. All right. Well, wonderful. I'm glad that y'all came. Let's get started. So Ignite is a month-long training program designed to equip you with the essentials to build a successful real estate career, actually business, because this is a business, right? The first 2 weeks of Ignite, it's called Spark. And we've already asked you your big why, so we're going to go through there. Go here. This will be the next one. The overarching goal of Spark is for agents to get an appointment with a buyer or seller. This will set you up to sign a contract in 30 days so you can begin to achieve the life you imagine for yourself in real estate. You will work this goal every day. You'll see in that slide there what successful agents do every day. You guys see that? Just nod. Yes. See it? Okay. I'm gonna have to move you around a little bit because it's blocking my slide. So you're going to work on this goal every day by building your database, practicing scripts, contacting prospective clients, and getting to know your market. In 2 weeks, you will establish the core activities and habits that you will use your entire real estate career. So I'd like you guys to, we kind of talked about your big why, but so if we go back to the screen here, your big why, what I want to ask on that is, so take a moment, envision your ideal life, what you're doing for people you care about, what charities you'd like to support, how you would make the lives of yourself and everyone around you better. This is important to establish your mindset and your goals from the beginning. Even jobs you love have moments where you'll struggle to find motivation. Believe me, after 16 years of doing this, I struggled to get motivation. When I was in a regular job, they basically told me what to do. I knew when I worked from 7 to 3:30 what I was going to be doing for that person all day long. And in this business, you know, when you come out of a job, and like I said, I was working 7 to 3:30, it was easy at first to get, you know, okay, I'm motivated. I'm gonna, this is what I have to do, because I didn't know anything. I didn't know any better. And like I said, I didn't come with this type of training and these tools. So it was basically me, you know, relying on myself to do the job, right? Because I didn't have these tools. So with you guys, it's fortunate you're learning this, okay? It's because it's going to guide you on what to do. But like I said, I go through periods of, okay, do I really want to get up and do real estate today? Especially, I don't know about you guys, but I can't stand all this rain. And I'm from Washington. I've lived here all my life, but this just creates so much gloom for me. And so I have to make myself get up, make my calls, you know, and interact with my clients, make sure I'm taking care of their needs, right? So have you guys heard of a limiting belief? Have any of you heard of a limiting belief? So if so, how would you define that? I'm going to just pick on, sorry, Kevin, because you're in my upper left-hand screen, I'm going to pick on you. How would you describe or define a limiting belief? Have you heard of one before? If you've taken this before, have you heard of a limiting belief?
That's the first time I've heard that.
Okay. So do you have something like, okay, so are you real consistent every day about making your phone calls, about contacting 10 new people every day? Are you consistent with that?
About 85%.
About 85%.
Yeah. I mean, some
So
days will get away from me, but you know, I really try and stick to that phone and try and have that time blocking set to where I can do those calls.
Good. You don't have anytime like, oh man, I really don't want to, like, if it's, so for me, I look at if it's somebody that I don't know, right? So if, okay, let's use, especially now with COVID, I mean, you know, you used to be able to, for me, I love going to Starbucks and just hanging out, right? Just going in Starbucks and get my coffee, and then I could strike up conversations. Well, with our masks on and things like that, it doesn't create this sense of where I want to, you know, people to approach me, right? So for me, that might be a limiting belief. Okay, so if I'm in, because, you know, we want to let everybody know, especially new in the business, what we're doing, right? How we're helping people and everything, but also not feel salesy, correct? So, you know, that might be a limiting belief. Oh, so for me, like I just said, I might sound salesy. I don't want my people to think that I'm calling them and all I want is their business, right? I mean, yes, ultimately we do want their business. We want them to refer us to, you know, their friends, family, everybody that they trust. We, you know, trust us with their people, right? So that might be a limiting belief where you have this voice that's telling you, oh man, you don't want to call them because, you know, they might think you're bugging them. Okay. So that's what I think it is. So limiting beliefs are ways of thinking that hold you back from success. Okay. So as you guys participate in this program, or in this class, I should say, you might catch yourself thinking of things like, I don't have time to devote 3 hours a day to lead generation. Now, I'll be honest, I don't do 3 hours. Okay. I do. And if you can't get past that, like, if you go, oh my gosh, 3 hours, well, do something in it, right? Don't sit down and go, oh my gosh, you know, nobody's answering their phone. Okay, I've gone through my whole database and haven't reached one, you know, haven't got to have one conversation with these people. Well, if all you can do at first, if you're just, you know, do 10 minutes, do 15. Some time is better than no time. Okay. So Henry Ford has a famous quote: if you think you can do a thing or think you can't do a thing, you're right. Right. So Henry Ford knew that your mindset is one of the factors that determines your success. As you go through Ignite, look for ways you're limiting your own success and remove the barriers you're putting in your own way. Connect your goals, your big why, as Gary Keller says, to push through and achieve your goals. Okay. Now we're going to learn what successful agents do every day. They grow their business and they run their business. If you don't lead generate, you're not going to be able to run your business, right? You're not going to have a client to market. You know, if you don't have clients to sell their home, you're not going to be able to market their listing. If you don't have buyers, you're not going to be able to show them houses, right? If you don't have buyers or sellers, you're not going to be able to negotiate. If you get an offer on your listing, if you don't have that listing, you're not going to get the contracts to negotiate, right? So, and to manage that contract all the way through, vendor management, set goals, things like that. So all of this stems from your the biggest number one on there is lead generate for buyers and sellers. And then, you know, and make seller listing presentations, because once you get that buyer, you want to, you know, tell them about the experience that they're going to have. You want to walk them through the process. Same with the listing. You know, you sign a contract with the listing agent. You also want to sign that contract with a buyer. Okay, we have the buyer agency agreement, and you know, that gets you started in the process of getting them used to signing contracts when you have that buyer's agency agreement. Because, you know, let's face it, just as exciting as I used to get when I would go out and look at real estate before I was in real estate, I'd get excited and I'd be like, oh, where do I sign, right? Well, if your clients are out and let's say you're not with them, right? Right now, obviously you can't go to just regular random open houses. They're not doing that. But when we could, you know, our buyers would go out and they're excited, like, oh, we want this house, we buy it. Well, if they don't remember, you know, some people, they get excited and they'll forget about you and they'll sign, you know, they'll write up a contract with this person at this open house. And we don't want that to happen, right? We want you to be their contact, right? Because we're in this business to get paid. And we have to explain that too at the sign, you know, when we have that presentation with your buyers that, you know, we're going to be in a relationship. And the reason we're signing this contract is because when you go to a listing, that agent or that client, that person who has that home listed, has a contract signed with a listing agent. And so they're going to work on behalf of that listing agent. You want to make sure that you have buyer representation, that I'm here to represent you. And I also let people know that, you know, in this relationship, and the other reason we're meeting is to see if I can work with you. Because sometimes we're not a good fit. But I find that when you set that, you know, because some people will come in and go, oh, well, you almost feel like, oh, well, you should work with me, you know, like the buyer, right? They'll be like, oh, well, you want to work with me. But if you say to them, well, you know, we got to see if this is a good fit for both of us. I find that sets the precedent and the tone, like, oh, wow, this is almost like a job interview, right? So you're going through and you get them to sign that contract. And now they know, oh, when I go to buy a home, I'm going to call you. I'm not going to use this listing agent, right? You're going to preview real estate. So like I said in here, sometimes like I have some buyers and I know what they're looking for. I set up a search on the Northwest MLS, right? So that these listings and things come to me that when I have this presentation, I sit there with them, and now I do a lot of Zoom calls and share my screen, but I'll share the MLS with them so that they can see what is out there in their price range, what is, you know, what they're looking for. And sometimes that helps, and that right there lets them see that, oh, maybe I might have to cut some things back, right? Because, you know, if they're at a $200,000 budget and they want a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house in Federal Way, we know that that's probably not going to happen, right? And unless they're paying cash and it's a fixer up completely, right? So that's where our job comes in, is we are showing them the process, because they don't know, they don't understand that, right? So, and some of them think that they have to pay us, and that's also where you let them know, you don't pay me for this, the seller pays for me, right? So there's nothing out of pocket to you for what I'm helping you with, and I don't get paid until we find you that ideal home. So the secret to be, so here's the secret to being a successful real estate agent. There is no secret. Okay. Success leaves clues. So we know exactly what successful agents do every day. So they do lead generation for, you know, say 3 hours. It's typically from 9 until noon, okay, or 9 to 11, which is only 2 hours. Every day, agents do 2 types of activities. They grow their business and they run their business. These are the activities that will help you achieve your big why. Every time you do any of them, know that you're doing it to achieve the life you want. Each activity on the slide, and if not obvious, why it's important to their business. So like I already explained to you is, if you don't have a buyer, if you don't have a seller, you're not going to get to market listings. You're not going to show buyer houses. So this is where we go in and we're cultivating our business. The goal of our time here is to model what successful agents do every day and show you how to do it. So, go down here. So this, okay. So what is Spark? We're going to fuel your career. This one. Okay. So welcome to Ignite. The next one here. This one says, sorry, there's supposed to be a video to this. The instructor slide contains a video. Okay, I'm not getting a video. Just a sec. Okay. So this is a quote from Gary Keller. Nothing else about your business will have as big an impact on it as the number of leads you have. Darn it, I really want to show you this video. It's a good video. Okay, so we're going to move on here. These circles represent habits. So number 1 will be your script practice for 30 minutes, an hour of lead gen, and then practice writing contracts. Okay. So Ignite is 4 weeks where you'll learn the foundation for success, including your daily success habits. Your daily success habits are things successful agents do every day, including lead generation. First 2 weeks are called Spark. Spark is your incubator for success, where you will learn how to set a successful mindset, lead generate, and get the confidence of a seller or buyer in your first appointment. After learning these foundations and developing some successful client relationships in Spark, you'll move to elementals to learn the skills you need to take these appointments. Move to these elementals to learn the skills you need to take these appointments to a successful closing. According to National Association of Realtors, are you guys familiar with that? That's who we pay our, keeps us. 66% of sellers and 41% of buyers find an agent through a friend. Okay. I want you to right now take out your cell phone. Okay, everybody gets permission to take out their cell phone. And then go to, so I have an iPhone and down at the bottom it says number, but scroll all the way down to the end. Okay, so what we're looking for is we're looking to see how many contacts you have in your cell phone. Okay. So I have 1,000 contacts in my cell phone. Can I get how many? So Heather, I can see you first. Can you tell me how many contacts do you have in your cell phone? Heather Dewey, sorry.
300.
Okay. And now Heather Hamilton, how many do you have?
I have 131.
Okay. So I have 1,000. Does anybody have any more than 1,000?
I have 1962, but I don't know if we're
Wow.
all.
Who is that? I can't see you. Sorry.
This is Ed. Ed with Ed and Junco.
Okay, wow, okay. So you have 1,067, you said? Okay, so now I want you to take that number of 1,000 contacts and multiply it by, or well, we're gonna use 1,000 as an example. You can use yours, use your number actually. I'm gonna use 1,000, but use yours, okay? And multiply that times 6%. Okay, so for me, that's 60. Now I'm going to give you, so the average commission, I would say in our office is, I'm going to base it off of our sales price in the office. Let's call it 375,000. Okay. So you take that price point, multiply that, and our average commission is 2.75. Okay. So now if you take, so if I were to take that, which came out for on 375, the commission is $10,312.50. So if we take that and that number that you came up with, so like for me, mine is 60. If I take 60,000 or 10,312.50 and I multiply that times 60, that's how much money I could be making out of my database. And I can tell you right now, I have not hit that. I have not hit $618,750 in commission. Okay. So with Heather Dewey, so what did that number look like for you? Oh, but you have to unmute yourself on.
Okay, so I did times 6%, and then what else? What's the next?
So
step?
if you take the number that you have in your take the number that you have, so in your phone, so take the number of contacts, multiply that times 6%. Then I took the average that's the average sale in our office of $375,000. Okay, so if I took $375,000, that's average sales, right? So then our average commission out of the office is 2.75. So I took that $375,000 and I multiplied that times 2.75%, which gave me $10,312.50. That would be your average commission on a $375,000 sale of a home and at 2.75%. So if you take that $10,312.50 and you multiply it times that number you came up with out of your contacts with that 6%, that's how much money your database could be making you, or your phone bank. Okay.
So 185.65.
Okay. That's a pretty good amount of money, right?
I'd be happy with that. Yep.
Yes. Yes. So, okay. So I want to know, Lexi, what were the numbers? How many people do you have in your phone?
I have almost 1,200.
Oh, come on.
A lot of it is our client database that we already have in my phone, so I don't really want to count all of that. But I would say similar to what I have would probably be around a little bit less than yours, like maybe 560, 560,000.
Wow. Okay. Anybody else? Does anybody else want to share their numbers? What they would come up with how many people they have on their phone? Come on, you guys. This is interactive. I don't want to hear myself talk all day.
I'll go. I had 114 contacts in mine, so a lot lower.
And who was that? Tell me your name. Sorry, because it doesn't populate.
Amanda.
Amanda.
Okay.
And so you had 114. What were your numbers?
I got 70,537.
Okay. That's not bad. I mean, so, I mean, that's not awful, right? Do you agree?
Yeah.
To come into something and make that, I think is wonderful, right? I wasn't making that when mind you, I worked for, like I said, I worked for Costco for 21 years. I was not making that much. So, I gave somebody 21 years, like you guys said, furthering their career and not doing, for you. So. Oh my gosh. I lost my share screen. Nope, that's your guys'. Oh, the share screen is stopped. Okay. Darn it. Sorry, guys, it somehow disappeared. Can you see it again?
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. So move on from there. So now you're starting to see why making these calls and keeping in touch with your people is really important. Because that's how much business is potentially out there. I mean, when I looked at my number, I was like, ew, well, I definitely need to step it up because I'm not making $600,000 a year. So. So when we start with our database, it makes sense, making our calls and stuff to call people in your sphere of influence. You'll also hear that as SOI. You'll get that a lot in Keller Williams, SOI. When you start your database, it makes sense to use your sphere of influence. In this section, we will define our sphere and practice reconnecting with people in our sphere. So your sphere of influence are people you've already met. They already know you, trust you, and respect you. Therefore, they are likely to be willing to help you. Because after all, people like to do business with those they know, trust, and respect. You have established reciprocal communication with the people in your sphere. The contacts in your phone are a good place for people in your sphere, right? Most of those people in your phone, if you're not on a team and it's not your, contacts from everybody else, but if those are people that you know, right, that you trust. So I would call them first and, practice on them. In fact, in your own self, would you rather do business with people you know, trust, and respect? Do you think your friends and acquaintances would rather use a realtor they know and trust? Is that yes? I would, right? So again, with the statistics, a NAR says 66% of sellers and 41% of buyers found their agent through a friend, neighbor, relative, or used an agent that they'd worked with before. And the best way to do this is like, who do you know going through a life change? So many of you have already said on here that, you were kind of forced out of your job because of COVID, so if we call them from the standpoint of, hey, how are you doing, right? Don't just start your call with, hey, do you want to buy a house or do you need to sell a house? Call from a place of, how are you doing, right? And then that will get the conversation going, okay? Going in the way, and, we're going to go through later, but how to add a contact in command. Have you guys done that before? Any of you? Some of you have. We'll go through that, and what I like about it, now I'm learning this myself, is in command, going in and adding in a contact, and in there, it allows you to make notes. So all the conversations, I have my command up at the same time that I'm calling these people from my sphere. I'm calling them and I have it up and I'm making notes in there, what we talked about, so that when I call them again, I can bring that up and say, hey, last time we talked, you mentioned this. How's this going? Is there anything new going on in your life? A new baby, things like that. Okay, can you guys turn to page 7 in your participant guide and answer the following questions? Who do you know that is going through a life event that may lead to a move? And who else, who does not know yet that you're in real estate? And who have you not spoken to in the last 2 weeks? Okay, these are just, things to get you going, right? Because these are things this is how you can, like when we went through those people on your phone, how many of those people haven't you talked to in a while? Do they all know what you do for a living now? Hey, I left, so many of you could call and say, I have this conversation. Hey, I just want to let you excited. I started in real estate. I left whatever that previous job was, right? If you didn't know it. So, okay. And so I want you to make notes on there on your page 7, answer these questions. Okay. Then if you'll go to page 8, we're going to talk about the waves of real estate. So as I was telling, this has to do with a different wave here. Not the one where I was saying we do like this in real estate as far as realtors go, but this is how the likelihood of people moving. So you want to stay in touch with your sphere. The very first black dot represents a person who they bought their house. So that's where they first bought their home. They're yay excited, and maybe they didn't use you. But now if you let them know, then you can be their agent of choice. The average person moves every 3 to 7 years. Right after a move, which is that black yellow dot, the first black dot, likelihood that they will want to move again is at its lowest point, right? Obviously, when you just bought a house, you're not thinking, hey, tomorrow I want to buy another house to move into. But over time, they begin to move, or to be more likely to look at buying, selling, or moving. The peaks of the waves are the moment a person moves. The likelihood of a move then moves into a trough. But over time, the likelihood of moves builds back up again. If you can't, so I'd like you to, I just realized we only have an hour left, so I don't know that we're going to be able to take a minute to do this, but I want you to add 5 to 7 people from your sphere to the waves model. So on here, you'll see the first black dot, and then it dips down. That's, them not buying a house. That's the next day. And then we have these other lines, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, those lines on there. Maybe put on there 5 to 7 people. Who do you know that has recently moved, who might be thinking about moving soon, and who is somewhere in the middle? These should be your first calls to see if you're right. How would you feel if your friends only called you if they wanted something from you? Would you feel like they cared about you? Typically, then I wouldn't answer their call. That's just me. Do you trust people that you think care about you more with your money? Do you want to talk to them and do business with them? You want to stay top of mind as their realtor of choice consistently so that when they're ready to buy, you're their first call. If you don't talk to them for 8 years after a deal, why would they call you first when they're ready to move? Even if a person has just bought or sold a home, stay in touch with them so that you're the realtor of choice for their next move. You also want to be top of mind for referrals if someone they know wants to move. Like I said before, people do business with people they know, like, and trust. Now we're going to go in here and don't fear your sphere. I know, so before we talked about limiting beliefs, and we're going to practice the Ford method, and that stands for, the acronym is, the F is family, O occupation, R recreation, and D for dreams. We want to make sure, so in this, we're calling our sphere. Now, I don't know if you guys have heard of the do not call list. You'll want to go on there. Now, when somebody gives you their phone number, they're giving you the okay to call them. If we were out cold calling, back in the day before we had this lovely internet and all this stuff, it was you pulled out a phone book and you went through all of A, B, and you just called people and you talked to them. Well, now we have, do not call lists. And so we want to be mindful of those because we don't want to get, in trouble or fined or anything like that. And that is what is that? It's donotcall.gov, I think it is. And I went on there and I just practiced. I put in a couple of phone numbers and mine is on there. But if I give my phone number to somebody, obviously I'm giving them permission to call me. So yeah, so you guys will have on page 9 the do not call content that you'll want to look over. Okay, so now we're going to practice calling your sphere. What fears or hesitations do you have about calling your fear? We already kind of went over that before, at least my fears anyway. Remove these limiting beliefs. Keep it personal and show interest in their lives. Use the Ford method. So, Susan, I want to practice on you. Can you unmute yourself for me?
Sure.
Thank you. So, ring, ring.
Hello?
Hi, Susan. It's Tracy Sands. How are you today?
Oh, hey, I'm good. How are you?
Good. Yeah, I just want to check in and see how you're doing. How's the family? Did you have a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year?
I did actually. My daughter got to come home for a while and visit, so it's always really fun having her home.
Great. Where was she at when you say come home?
Oh yeah, she lives in DC. She's been there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Is she going to school there or?
No, she works for International Justice Mission that's based in DC. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. That's
cool.
Yes, it sounds intimidating to me. Well, so we kind of get, okay, so I'm digressing a little bit. We already went family, we did occupation. So how's your job? Anything new going on for you?
How would I normally answer that?
Well, you can tell me that you started in real estate.
Yeah, I would. Hey, guess what? I just started in real estate.
So what's new? Anything new? Did you get, how's your job? What's happening?
Yeah.
And you say, oh, I'm glad you asked. Started really, okay. Do you, recreation, do you have any, I know with COVID, it's kind of challenging. Are you, what are you doing to get out and do some recreation or do some you time?
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, I literally watch the weather on my phone. So when a sunny day comes, I plan to get out and go be outside and not miss it.
I hear you. This rain is definitely messing up my running schedule. I will tell you that.
It's tough.
It is tough. So do you have any dreams? Like, what dreams do you have? Travel, things like that. Any dreams this year that you want to hit for 2021?
Yeah, I'm kind of not looking that far right now. I'm like obsessed with puppy hunting.
Oh,
so I am searching for a dog. So, yeah, I haven't had a dog really since I was a kid, except for a short while at one point when my kids were little, and it was an absolute disaster. So now I'm very like, I'm kind of, I'm checking puppy blogs and all the things like 24/7 and oh, that one's cute. Oh, that one's cute. Oh, that one's cute. And then get scared. So that's kind of, other than, so it's either real estate or puppy hunting 24/7 for me right now.
Well, good. Well, awesome. Well, thank you for the time of hanging out with me. Yeah, have a great day. I mean, I don't know how I would end that conversation. Obviously, it wouldn't be, it's hard when you're
I would definitely go, how are you? What are you? I usually
what's new?
Answer back with questions,
And that's what we want. We want this. Yeah. So, we want the conversation when it's personal and about them. They don't mind picking up your call, right? Connection is valuable, and look for other ways to provide value to them, because we're trying to add value to your clients, right? We want to come from contribution. You'll hear that a lot in Keller Williams. We want to come from contribution, not just saying, hey, you got any friends or family that are looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? If you're asking that question all the time, most of the time, they're not going to even pick up your call, or you won't get a response from text, right? So, I look, so like I said, when we have command up and we go through and I'm making these notes in here, I ask my clients, I want their birth date, because I send out birthday cards to every single one of my clients. I send out a birthday card, and if they have children, I send out a birthday card. Now, I know some people put in lotto tickets. That's not my thing. I send out $5 Starbucks gift cards, and all of my birthday cards, I send them that, because I'll tell you, I find that the kids love to get things in the mail. Kids love that. And when you capture the kids, you capture it's like McDonald's, right? Really, believe me, I'm not a big McDonald's fan. I don't go, when I had kids or with my grandkids, it's not because they have great food. It's because you can go in and your kids can play, and you know, as a parent, you can maybe have a time off for a few minutes, right, while they're in playing somewhere, especially if it's raining. I don't even know. Can you even go into the kids' place anymore? I don't know. But yeah, right now you can't. But you know, and it's because, like I said, it's not because they have great food, but when you get the kids, I mean, look at McDonald's. I've only seen one McDonald's close, and that was in Arizona. But you know, usually, I know for me, by my house, the McDonald's, the line is always almost out into the street. And it's because they've, you know, they're fast. I don't think it's because the food is great, but I think it's because they capture the kids. And that's what I do. I send out a birthday card to them. I know their birthdays. I know their anniversaries, you know, their house anniversary and their, you know, wedding anniversary or important anniversaries. You know, you, Susan, mentioned their puppy. Well, some people don't have kids, they don't have grandkids, whatever, but they got a new pet. So, you know, having that conversation about their new pet, real estate plans for 2020. We're just trying to dive in and get to know them, right? So we're not feeling, because that's where I struggle. My limiting beliefs is, oh, I don't want to sound salesy. I don't want them to feel like I'm pressuring them or things like that. So for me, I really have to go through this practice Ford method and make sure I'm sounding, you know, that I'm sincere. I mean, not sounding serious, but I am. I'm asking them about them and not making it about me. Okay, so now you're familiar with the sphere. We're going to move on into the tools. It's time to become familiar with the tools. You'll need to maintain your database and launch your career. We will go over how to use command and the contents of the Ignite toolkit. By the end of this section, you will know how to enter a contact into command, and you'll be familiar with all of the resources available in the Ignite toolkit. So these are the tools that you'll need to be successful in real estate. This is the vision for Keller Williams Technology. The vision of Keller Williams is to be the real estate company of choice for agents and their customers. One of the ways that Keller Williams is doing this is by making everything easier for both you as an agent and for your clients too. You guys use cloud products, Google Cloud, iCloud, for example. The purpose of the cloud is to make it easy to and store your information across multiple systems or devices. A cloud makes your experience easy and seamless no matter what you're trying to do. Keller Cloud connects all of the tools you'll need to manage your contacts and database, track where you are in each deal, remind you of what to do, and it even allows you to easily communicate to your clients. Two of the main tools are Command, which is like the homepage for every agent's business, and the KW app. Hopefully you guys have downloaded your own KW app and you're sharing that with your clients so that they're not going out there and using Redfin or John L. Scott or somebody else. The KW app that consumers can use to search for listings or get information about the deal they're doing with a KW agent. Command allows you to see the homes your customers are interested in on the KW app so that you have more insight into what they want. Command will also be like having an assistant in your pocket, reminding you of things you need to do and storing all of your contacts and allowing you to make notes about your conversation. So that's what I was saying. I make my notes in there and then I create a task. So if I've already spoke, you know, when I spoke to them, I make a task in there of when I need to speak to them again. Okay, so everybody has their computer up. I want us to log into KW Command. Let me see. Hopefully I can share this with you. I'm going to minimize this screen and open another one. Nope, I'm not. Okay, so I'm going to go in here to my command, agent.kw.com. And then your sign in should be, have you all signed in? I can't see your faces. So hopefully you guys have all gone into command before.
Yep.
If not, go in. Okay, cool. All right. So yeah, just go into agent.kw.com and go into your login, and then we're going to hit sign in. And yours will probably have your name up here. Okay. So then we're going to go over here to contacts. And then we're going to go into add a contact. One thing I want to show you, I learned this myself. I mean, so Keller Williams calls these applets. So like on your phone, you know how we have an app, right? If we didn't have our smartphones, we wouldn't need the use of apps. But so these are like Keller Williams's way of, well, it's their applet. So if we click on this, this tells you what they are: home, contacts, tasks, smart plans, things like that. Today we're just going to do the contacts, but I encourage you to go through and just click on these. You can't hurt it. So we'll go in here and we're going to add a contact. And then this here, so can you see is this sharing with you guys? Can you see it?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, perfect. Okay. So up here in the right-hand corner, there's a question mark, and it'll, you can go on guided tours. It'll teach you how to go through things, and you can chat with support, post an idea. So we're going to go in here. We're going to add a contact. Right now, I'm going to add Mickey Mouse. My relationship with this, let's see. Personal email, we're going to say Mickey Mouse at gmail.com. And his phone number is 6-555-1212. And we're going to create. You can go in. So now I have Mickey Mouse. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to search for Mickey Mouse. So in here you can edit. So I can edit. Did everybody get that? Are you guys, anybody have any questions?
Yeah, I do. Tracy, what do you do when it's a husband and wife or a partner's? It seems like it makes them make separate contacts and then they show up as separate contacts. And if you want to communicate with them as a pair, and they have different emails, do you typically send it just to one? Like, what's the norm?
When you say, when I send them an email, am I like, so when I'm having a conversation with them as like over a contract or over, how do you mean?
Well, like if they're just, or you want to follow up with them later or something like that, if they're sort of like on a nurture, right? They're long-term kind of nurture things. So like if you have them on a plan and you have emails going out, or you have, you want to call them, like what do you typically
I do each one separately.
How do you put them in your database, I guess?
Well, in here, so I did, so like if here, I'll put them as their spouse. And so I will create a spouse. So this is Minnie Mouse. And I'll just add her on here. Because some of them I don't have, like if it's not, how to explain this? I don't always have both spouses' email information. Right. I don't have all of their information, but then that strikes up a conversation too. Hey, I don't seem to have, I have your phone number, but I don't have your email, right? So in a when you're calling them, you can ask them for that. And I set them up as, I put their information in here. So like I did just put spouse and I added them. But you're right, it does not allow me to add that spouse's email in here. Yeah. So you will have to create them as a separate contact. And then I send out the emails and everything separately. So when I'm on when they're on a drip campaign or something to that effect, everything goes to them separately, not as one cohesive unit. Okay. So in here, this is where I was saying, add more information, add additional information. I'll go in and add, you know, you can in here add an additional email. So you could potentially put, you know, the spouse's information in here, but I like to do them separately because then I'm reaching out to them separately. Because, you know, if somebody calls my husband, I might not get the information that they shared with him, right? So it's better if we're both on, you know, if we're both contacted separately. I'm trying to show you where I put in. I'm really just supposed to show you how to add a contact. So anyway, but in here, when you play around with it, you'll see, so you'll become the owner, like I'm the owner of this on a team. I can assign it to, you know, so if I had a buyer's agent or if I had another agent, I could assign it to somebody else. But you can go in and you can put their social profile on Facebook. So, because the other way you want to reach out to people is you want to be able to go have their Facebook information and go in and make comments on like posts that they're doing, because you don't want to just be only calling them. You want to interact in their lives and things like that. You know, we'll get in here a little bit that it's the daily 10-4 of what we're supposed to be doing, you know, 10 contacts into your database, you know, I'll get into that though. So, okay, everybody feel pretty good about adding a contact in Command. If you have questions, please let me know. Unmute yourself and let me know. Okay, we are moving on, guys. Assuming I know how to get us. The one thing though that I do also, let me go back, like, so in my, when I'm in Command, I go in and I add a task. So, you know, knowing what to, like I said, I reached out to several people in my database. And when I do that, I make notes in there. You can add this really isn't on this slide, but I do want to show you. So for Mickey Mouse, if I made over here, you see where you can do notes, you can do tasks. So set up a task reminder that I need to call Mickey Mouse on January 11th and just check in. So you can do that in here. And then I keep my notes up so that when I'm talking to Mickey Mouse, I can add in there what we talked about. So all those people that are in your phone, those are the people that you should be adding into your database first. Okay, so in your Command, you should be putting them in, and excuse me, in your phone, they should be going in there first. Okay, so did you guys turn to page 11 to kind of walk through that when I was doing that? I apologize, I didn't read that part for you first. Okay, so now we're going to go on your Ignite Toolkit. Everybody received the link to the toolkit files? Did you all get that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody not get it? Okay, good. So you have there, this is just part of the toolkit. You should have gotten a lot more, your scripts and all of that. So your resources, your job aid, your script book, buyer lead sheet, 411, plan your day checklist, previewing homes, job aid, pre-listing questionnaire, your pre-listing packet, and open house tools. You should have both have the printed copy and the toolkit, the access to the files electronically. If you don't have the electronic files, let me know and I'll get those to you. And these are just some of the items in the toolkit. Okay, so now we're going to prepare you for success. Okay, so this section you're going to be learning and going over the daily 10-4 and help you develop a plan for how to spend your time outside of Ignite to build a successful real estate business. Just because when we're done at, at 11 o'clock, that doesn't end your real estate day. This is where you're going to be, Ignite. So Ignite right now we're in Spark, this first class of Spark, right, which was mine. So start your, fuel your career. Ignite consists of learning modules, daily success habits. The first 2 weeks of Ignite are called Spark because they are the modules to spark a successful real estate career. And this module will provide an overview of Spark that includes the general models we will be using and the tools you will need. This will provide an overview of the lead generation model as the foundation of a successful real estate business, and it's going to cover how to lead generate and why lead generation is our #1 priority, which we've already hit those. By the end of this model, you will know the benefits of using powerful scripts and will have practice using scripts. We don't have time to practice just because it's cut down from a 4-hour class to a 2-hour class. We already went through how to set up your database, and you want to set goals that really matter. Is all about setting a meaningful goal, learning to use the 411, applying 80-20 principle to achieve your goals, deliver your value proposition. In this module, you will define your value to the client and develop a script for delivering your value proposition. So most of you already kind of got a script because you want to help people. So write a value proposition around that, right? It doesn't have to be anything really long. I find that for me, dealing, with buyers, they kind of call it your 5-second or your 5-second elevator script, right? So you can tell them, hey, what you do and let them know what your passion is behind it. Find and win the buyer. This session will teach you how to find buyers and then take the buyer opportunity from contract to close. And working with sellers, this session mirrors the previous sessions on buyers, but instead focuses on finding sellers and taking those opportunities from contract to close. A day in the life of a real estate agent. How do successful agents structure their day? This module will give you a framework for how to structure your day to meet your goals for a successful real estate business. And you guys have the schedule for those, right? The Spark modules and things. If you need that, I have that for you. Okay, so now we're going to go on to your daily 10-4. Grow and manage your database. So when we talk about the 10-4, there's 4 habits and your daily activities to grow with each of those habits. So the 4 powerful habits are things successful agents do every day throughout their careers. The daily 10-4 are the activities that support those 4 habits. These habits are core to Spark because they will help you get your first appointment. You already know, we're start with your sphere. You already have people in your phone, add them to your database and use this as an opportunity to call them and connect or reconnect. Then you can follow up with a written note, thanking them for their time and helping you to grow your business through referrals. So grow and manage your database, add to the 10 new contacts to your database. And so those will be the people in your phone. So some of you have 136, add those to your database. And you're going to prospect. So you're going to speak with 10 people in your database. So these are things I'd like you to do in class, after class today. Add 10 new contacts to your database, speak with 10 people in your database, write a follow-up note. So write 10 notes to people you've recently contacted, know your market, preview 10 homes per week. Now, previewing homes job aid will help you get to know your market. Seeing a property in person is very different from viewing it online. So, as realtors, so when I put a listing on, I pay for professional photography. I don't know how many of you have actually gone and, went and previewed homes as of yet. I know, Susan, you have, but sometimes the pictures that are online are really amazing. And then you get to the house and it's a dog. I mean, I've had listings like that where people have said, oh my gosh, this house is, you know, way better online than it is in person. I'm like, yep, that's why it's priced accordingly, you know? And so that's things that we're going to do for our clients. We're going to go out and we're going to preview homes. That's part of why we preview homes. It also helps us to know what's in that home, you know, because in the pictures, sometimes they've gotten really slick with making laminate look like granite. And if you have a client that really wants granite, you know, you're going to want to go to these houses before you're emailing them to them and see if they truly have what they want. I have a client that needs a 3+ bedroom. Well, if I don't have anywhere where I can get them the plus bedroom, then I don't want to be sending that to them, right? And wasting their time by showing them a house that just really doesn't fit for them. And I know in here it says, so after you talk with people, it says follow up, write 10 notes to people you've recently contacted. Now, mind you, I don't write the best, so I will do that. But you can also have people write them for you, right? A spouse or whatever. If somebody has better handwriting for you, you know, have them do it. Or even just go to the store and buy a simple thank you note and write on there, hey, it was great chatting with you. Thank you so much for taking the time. People want to feel appreciated. And especially in a time like this, where we're so stuck in our home and, you know, we're not getting that reinforcement. Even when we're out somewhere, you know, you're just not talking to people anymore. And so getting a handwritten note is kind of a nice thing to get. But also, you know, create a video. Some of you guys are really techie. I heard Junko, I'm sorry, I don't remember your husband's name. I think it was Ed. If he, you know, he came from that technology business. He knows tech really well. We'll create a really cool video that, you know, you text your clients and say, hey, thank you so much. It was great chatting with you, right? And you text that to them. And then they, you know, that's your, instead of, if you're not really into the handwritten notes, then do that. Or comment on their posts on Facebook, you know, just so long as you're doing this, right? It's getting you in habits, because this is all proven. These are proven successes that, you know, Gary Keller and mega agents do every single day. Okay. And previewing homes, what that does, you know, is it gets you comfortable with a lockbox, right? Going out there and so that your practice isn't on your client for the first time, right? Making sure that you're updating your e-key every single day. Every morning when you get up, you know, go on your e-key and update that every day so it doesn't happen. Let's say you're out somewhere in a real rural place. Like I've gone and shown houses out in Rainier, Washington, and the reception is spotty. So trying to get your lockbox to update when you're standing at the door, that's a little embarrassing if you're, you know, so if you remember to do that, just simple things. And like I said, it gets you comfortable with going to a lockbox, you know, and setting up your showings and showing time, knowing your market, you know, and that's the other thing. So when you're going to preview these homes, just because you don't have a client with you doesn't mean you don't get to set up, you know, you don't have to set up an appointment, right? You still have to set up an appointment. You can say that you're previewing, and make sure you're reading those agent remarks for possible showing restrictions. And always have that one place that you leave the key, right? So when you get in, you get excited, you're showing things, showing the house, and you've set the key down, but where did I set it down, right? So I always take the shackle, that's the little bottom of the lockbox that you push up where the key, it houses the keys for you to get in the house. I take that and I put the keys back inside of it, and I'll set it either on the island in the kitchen or something so that I can go back and remember where I left it, right? So we're not carrying it around and potentially accidentally losing it or dropping it. Start to know what's in the home. It's really good to, you know, when you're going out and previewing these homes, because people are going to have questions, because your clients are looking to you as the expert. So I go around and I know, you know, different types of roof. Is it a composition roof? Is it a torch down roof? I'll look at the siding. Is it hardy plank? Is it LP siding, which stands for Louisiana Pacific, and it had an issue and failed. That siding was in a lawsuit, and, you know, when all the money ran out, they couldn't replace it all. But knowing if that's LP and that there could be potential problems for your clients, right? Always, every time I go into a listing, I make sure, even if I'm going to a listing appointment, I always make sure that they have the carbon monoxide detectors on there. smoke detectors, and I always check the water heater to make sure that it is strapped. Okay, because those are things once you get under contract and you know, you have an inspection, but there's also an appraisal, which that's ordered by the lender. Well, those are things, those three things that I just said, the CO detectors, the carbon monoxide detectors, the smoke detectors, and the water heaters, if they're not strapped or whatnot, then the appraiser can call those items and that can hold up your closing. So you want to make sure, you know, we're being interactive and we're making sure that these things are done ahead of time so it doesn't hold anything up, because your clients pay for that appraisal. And if the inspector or the appraiser has to come back out, that can be a costly charge. It's an additional charge for them to come out. It's about $125 additional on top of the already $800 to $1,000 that they have to pay for that appraisal. So, you know, if we can do that ahead of time and make sure that the seller has those things already in the house, then we're already going to look like a better agent, right? Like we're doing our job that we're supposed to be doing. Yes. So like we already said, the rest of your day is not, you know, when we're done with Spark, is not the end of your real estate day, right? Divide the rest of your day between grow your business and run your business, as we said before. Making your calls, reaching out to your database, right? Okay. So is there anything you guys would like me to touch base? I kind of went, at first we were moving along really slowly and now we're at 10:30 and we're almost done. And I'm just wondering, do you have any ahas? Do you have anything that I didn't hit? You know, I'd like to know in this, how has your thinking changed? What ideas or mindsets were new for you? What do you feel differently about? What was meaningful to you today? You know, how will behaviors be different going forward with action? You know, what actions will you take going forward? What tools, models, or systems will you definitely use? You know, how will they make you accountable?
I guess for me, one thing is, you know, the holidays and during a bunch of the, you know, wanting to have the opportunity to reach out to my friends and folks in my sphere. You know, I guess just the pure, you know, call it neutered, you know, I'm not going to mention business, just how are you doing? The, you know, the forward technique, I think is really, I think you sort of have in the back of your mind, hey, I gotta bring this big news to them and do a close or something and maybe just let it go and then maybe the next time.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
kind of,
Well, and I appreciate you sharing that, because I'll tell you, it's something that, like I said, even 16 years in the business, I have that mind, you know, I still think, oh my gosh, I'm gonna call these people, I don't want to bug them. And I go through forward. How are you? How, you know, how was your, especially now after the holidays, I mean, this is a great conversation starter, right? How was your, you know, how was Christmas? You know, if you celebrate Christmas, how was New Year's? You know, did you do anything? Did you go to bed before 10? I mean, you know, or, you know, were you up until, you know, New Year's? Did you ring it in? You know, what did you do? Anything you guys are not doing that, that this kind of helped you with, an aha, any ideas or anything you want to share, like that triggered a thought in you, like, wow, this is what I'm not doing and I can be doing. Come on, don't be afraid.
Okay, I'll talk. I mean, honestly, just like having like almost like a sort of script ready, but you know, without sounding and doing, but that's really gonna like help.
I'm so
me
sorry, Laura, your
make my phone
thing
calls,
is,
I think, instead of just
oh, there we go.
calling out of the blue, but just thinking about what I'm gonna say. And
Yeah, and you guys all got your script, the script book, right?
But just this like little script that you have.
Oh, your Laura, your thing, you're kind of warbly, so I didn't understand. You froze. So you're frozen. I don't know if it's your internet connection, but I want to hear what you had to say.
I mean, I'll try again. Can you hear me? Is it clear?
Not really.
Okay.
Is everybody getting the same thing? Kind of warbly? Yeah. Okay. Shoot. So anybody, have any of you, I'll just pick on, I'm going to look at Amanda since you're right here. So have you made any calls to anybody in your database? Does everybody know what you do now for a living?
I wouldn't say everybody does, but a lot of people do.
Okay. And are you setting up tasks, or is that the first time you've seen Command or been in it?
No, I've been in Command quite a bit. I actually work with a team, but they use A-frame, so it's a little bit different.
Oh, okay.
But it's kind of the same concept of it.
Mhm.
And I was supposed to have an introduction letter go out to everybody last week, and then I think there's like a week after that. I'm supposed to call and follow up. So, and ask those forward questions would be good.
So let me ask, so you said you were supposed to have a letter that went out last week. Did you send that out, or somebody else is doing that for you?
Someone else
Or
was
didn't
doing
get
it
done?
for me.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so I just
it didn't
emailed.
get done.
I don't know. I emailed today and was like, "Hey, just wondering. I haven't heard anything about this yet." So.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. And then, so that's even a good conversation starter. So if they sent it out last week for you, you can call and say, "Hey, did you get my letter in the mail?"
Yeah.
You know, and then that, you know, "Hey, how are you doing? I just wanted to check in and see if, you know, I mailed out this letter. I don't know if because of the holidays it was slow, you know, because I know I was getting mail late. I sent all my Christmas cards out, you know, early, but some people didn't get them until, you know, January 1st, which is like, okay, that's a bummer. But, you know, just say, "Oh, did you get it?" You know, and that'll be another conversation starter, right? And then go into Ford, having that conversation. And then, you know, and practicing. I mean, I guess we do have, you know, we have enough time that you guys could go over it if you want to, if you guys want to hook up with somebody and just we could practice while we're sitting here. Is that like if Heather Dewey did it with Lexi? You guys look so excited.
Did you say us practice a script together?
Yeah, either a script. Well, we could do the Ford. We could practice the Ford method. Because kind of that was something that we were, you know, if you were in the 4-hour class, you would be doing this practice, right? You'd be doing that and you'd probably go over some scripts together. So I don't know if somebody wants to do the ring or if you guys want to do it. I just, you know, we have 20 minutes left over, so I want to utilize the time and make sure we're getting it.
All right.
You want to call me?
Hey, Lexi. Ring, ring.
Hello, Heather. How are you?
Oh, hey, just checking in with you. How are you doing?
I'm good. Just getting, you know, everything back together for the year and getting prepared.
Oh, great. So how's your family doing? How are the holidays?
It was good. It was really quiet. You know, we didn't do our big holiday thing, as I'm sure, you know, most people didn't do this year. So it was kind of nice to have a close knit family this year, but I'm definitely excited for next year when, you know, everyone can get back together again. So
Yeah,
how about you?
good. Oh, doing great. Are you still working? Has your job been okay through this?
Yeah, I actually just got promoted to a buyer's agent instead of being a listing coordinator anymore. So I'm actually working with one of our buyer's agents, Karen Hake, right now as a showing assistant, and she's, you know, kind of showing me the ropes and teaching me how to get into the business. So
Wow, that's so cool. Good to hear. It sounds like you're making a lot of progress with your work.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Are you still enjoying that thing you enjoy?
I sure am. I'm still enjoying it.
Perfect. Oh, that's great. Good. Anything else going on for you?
No, like I said, you know, just getting ready for the year and, you know, excited to kick off this new real estate business I'm getting into. So
Good. So cool. Well, it's so nice to catch up with you.
yeah,
Let's
you
talk
too.
again
Thank
soon.
you.
Good job, guys. Way to do it on the spot. Yeah, so in that, then again, when I have them on the phone, I would have my command up and then make notes in there, right? You're going to learn about, so Keller Williams has the DTD2, and I'm not sure what that's data, let's see. I don't know what that acronym stands for, but you you touch your database, you know, you call them 4 times. Okay, so you're calling them 4 times a year. So I'm making notes and I'm creating a task in Command to remind me, you know, to do that, right? And I have an admin, so she sets a lot of this stuff up for me. So that's the other reason I don't have to think about it and know about it. But, you know, as you go through, you're going to learn in Ignite throughout these classes what these things mean and how to do them, because you do want to stay top of mind, right? I mean, how awful is it? Well, I'll just speak for my own self. I had some people that lived across the street from me, and they listed their home with somebody else. And so I wasn't top of mind, but I live there. Who should be selling their home? The person who lives there and knows all about this neighborhood, right? And it wasn't me. And then the people in the neighborhood who do know that I'm a realtor, they're like, hey, so-and-so listed your house. What happened? And be like, oh, well, it's a family member. I mean, it's okay. You know, I mean, it's like, oh, well, I guess they wanted to use somebody else, you know, but it still is, you know, you're like, dang it. And then you got to look at it every day, right? You know, so I'm like pulling out of my garage, like, oh, great. Yep. Neighbor listed their house. Darn it. That should have been me, you know? And then they always want to say, oh, but you can sell it if you want. I'm like, well, I don't really have a buyer for that right now, but if I did, I sure would sell it, you know? So the other thing I will tell you, and I hate this part, but when you're out previewing homes, we're not supposed to leave our business cards anymore. And so don't do that, because they're talking, you know, what that has to do with touching and things like that. But, you know, back when we could, and it will happen again, one of the things that they said when you're previewing homes is, and I haven't done this, but leave a note for the seller, like, hey, thank you so much for letting me show your beautiful home. Now, that works. One thing that helps is because, you know, and let's say you have your business card stapled to that note, so that, let's say that house doesn't sell and it now becomes an expired listing. Who do you think they're going to remember out of all of those business cards on that countertop, but the person who writes a note and staples and says, hey, thank you so much for allowing me to see your wonderful home. Right? Thank you. It's beautiful. I love the touches you did, you know, and make it a little bit personal. It only take an extra couple seconds, but it could mean, you know, and if you have a buyer and you do end up writing an offer on it, you can make a note to the listing agent, or tell the listing agent, hey, you know, I left a note in the house. Maybe that'll help spark your client. Maybe they'll be, you know, more motivated because they like that touch. I don't know. But just a suggestion, I got that off of one of the videos I was watching on Command as well. You know, you can watch other videos on there on how to do things, right? Showings and things like that. So does anybody have anything? What do you feel differently about? What was meaningful to you today? I know some of you said that Ford is, you know, I really haven't gone over that as much. I do it on a regular basis. I just didn't realize there was, you know, I do it all the time, but not realizing it was an acronym involved in it, right? That it actually meant something else. What tools, models, what somebody tell me. Sorry, somebody unmuted themselves.
Oh, that was me. I was thinking like, I don't know why it's echoey. With the Ford, what I found is like, I don't necessarily go through every single one of them, right? It's more just like one of them that seems to stand out with that person. Or whatever, because I know I'm a chatty Cathy, so we could be talking for a really long time. And especially like when I started going through my database, or I'm sorry, my contacts and just my friend circle and all of that here in the local area, because my phone is filled with people from all over the world, literally. So because I hadn't actually had a conversation with these people in a really long time, they were like, I think they were thinking, why are you calling me? Like, I haven't talked to you in a year or seen you in a year or something like that. So, but my sort of excuse or my little hook that I've been using is like, so many of my friends know that I had been looking for a job for a really long time, and they would ask me about it from time to time. So that was kind of like something that almost gave me more of an excuse to call rather than, you know, just saying, oh my gosh, I finally and yeah, so maybe just, you know, pick one of those things that seems to resonate with people, and for me, the thing that I have to keep reminding myself is just ask questions, ask questions, ask questions.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Because people like to talk about themselves, right? I mean, I'd much rather, yeah, I mean, people do, they really like, it's proven. People like to talk, how are you? And get information when it's about you. I tell you, my husband is definitely better at that than I am. He, I don't know who else was on here, but they were pastors. I'm not sure. Let me see. Is he still? Yeah, Joshua. Yeah. So my husband and I are also pastors, and he indeed has the gift of talking to people because that's what he does, when we pastor. And he is so good. We just went out for, what was it, catfish, I think yesterday, somewhere at this place. We had to drive all the way to Everett for this specific place to get catfish. Yeah, I know. I was in your neck of the woods too. We were way out. We ended up actually out at what are those outlet malls out there? What's that called? Tulalip. Yeah, so we ended up out there shopping too.
Wow, that's way
Yeah,
up
so
there.
it was like, hey, if we're already out in Everett, we're gonna go shopping, right? Because that's just what I like to do. But we're in there and he's talking to this young girl, and I feel it makes me uncomfortable. But he's talking to this girl and just encouraging her, right? And learning about her and just and that's, I admire that in him, right? Because people don't care about what they want to know that you care, right? And that's with anybody. And asking those questions, I think it really stimulates that, and especially in a time like this, right? I think it's better to, we can text people, but I think it's better to give them a call. And this is me telling myself this. So I'm not telling you guys anything different than what I have to do myself, right? Because I get in there and go, oh my gosh, what if they're working? What if this, what if that? But if I start off with, hey, how are you doing? I'm sorry, we haven't chatted in a while. Like you said, Susan, you said that, you called them and they wondered why you were calling. Well, just say, hey, I haven't called in a while and I apologize for that. I just want to check in and see how you're doing. How are you? And come from that. In our business, we want to come from contribution, definitely, not always asking for, oh, do you know anybody who needs to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? Because if I get that, I'll be like, ding, I'm okay. Next time they call me, I already know what they want and I'm not going to answer their call, right? So anybody have anything that I could go over more, or?
I do have a question about that because I feel like, 9 times out of 10, they're not going to answer. You're going to get a voicemail or whatever.
Right.
So in doing these sort of initial calls of leaving a voicemail, just leaving the voicemail of, hey, oh my gosh, I haven't talked to you in such a long time. I felt like checking in.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the kind of voicemail you would leave, or would you also add something else to it?
Nope. I just say, hey, I was thinking about you, because I do that all the time. Whenever somebody comes to my mind, as a pastor, I either know maybe I need to pray for them, or I need to ask, I need to call them and find out what's going on, or even just text them, hey, I'm thinking about you. Is everything okay? Are you okay? Do you need anything? So I think that's an okay voicemail to leave, or even a text. Oh yeah, you could also say, so my husband is here too, kind of encouraging me here, that when you leave the voicemail, Susan, you could even text them and say, hey, I just left you a voicemail. Did you get it? Or please text me back. Let me know you got my voicemail, if you need anything. Okay. So everybody's going to go out after we're done, and you're going to add your 10 contacts to your database, right? Everybody's nodding. I see one head nodding. Okay. 10 conversations today, 10 handwritten notes, or go and like something or have a conversation with somebody on Facebook, right? Go and comment on something that they've posted. If it's one of those, one of the people that you've spoken with, right? That you've called, you want to go, and if you have their Facebook information, go in. And if sending a note isn't your thing, like I said, my handwriting is terrible. I always have my ad, so because she writes beautifully, and definitely definitely go out and preview at least 3 homes this week, okay? Or today. Everybody gonna do that? Mhm.
Tell them to start out in the arena that they like. Some people like sports. Some people like, I'm a veteran. I'm easy for me to talk to the military.
Sorry, honey. So my husband suggested start in the arena that is comfortable for you, right? So when you're like, I don't know, I'm not into sports. I'm not into, I mean, I can communicate with veterans because my husband is an ex-veteran, right? So I can have those conversations and say to them, oh, wow, you're a veteran. Oh, well, thank you for your service. And that always makes them feel a lot more comfortable, right? So maybe calling and talking to them in that arena that you're interested in. If you guys have common likes, oh man, or even, so some of you came from the bar industry, I don't know. The other conversations you can have is other people that say, hey, has this COVID affected you? As you know, I was in this industry and I had to leave my job. I mean, did that affect you, right? So we're all going to do the 10 contacts added to your database, 10 conversations, 10 handwritten notes or likes or conversations on Facebook. Like I said, a video for those techie people who like to actually video themselves. And then your home previews. Practice the scripts. That's definitely one of your things that you should be going over. Like you should be practicing those scripts every day. And if you guys need a script partner, I know that, now I don't know, they're going to start that again at the office and they may already have that. We can do a Zoom, they have a scripts class or scripts timeline that they're doing. Her name is, I think it's Lindy. She's out of the Kent office for us. And, but they're doing, scripts practice. And pick a script. I mean, I'm happy to do scripts with somebody. If somebody wants to have, a script practice, I am more than happy to go over those scripts with you, okay? So you're going to lead generate, uncover their motivations, identify objections, close deals, speak in terms the customer understands, and build confidence. That's what scripts do, right? Because, it can be awkward. And when you use these scripts, sometimes they don't sound like you would sound, but practice them enough and they will sound like, they will, until you're comfortable, they will definitely, then they'll start sounding like you. So you'll want to, your script practice, you'll want to take, 30 minutes. If you're, that might be long. I mean, but you want to practice those scripts daily, right? Until you're comfortable, especially to talk to a stranger, right? If you're talking to a stranger about real estate, hey, do you own a home? I mean, that's a great conversation. Oh, do you live in the area? Oh, where? Oh, do you live close to here? I go to my local Fred Meyer. The people in the Fred Meyer know what I do for a living, and they know that I'm the realtor of choice. They know what we do because we have those conversations. I've helped several people at my local Fred Meyer buy houses. I'm in the process of one right now with a client there. But because I engage with those people, I'm at that market every day. So I might as well get something out of it, right? I might as well, I'm always there buying groceries every day or getting a latte every day. And I'll tell you, every single one of those baristas know what I do. I have those conversations, but I'm comfortable in there, right? I go in there so often that now they're part of my sphere of influence because I'm there all the time. And so why not? If you're there spending your money, you might as well, use that. That's a big platform, and especially if they all know what you do and they're going, oh, if you want a realtor, Raynard and Tracy Sands, they're the best. Use them. Great. I'll take that. Right. So, but definitely doing your script practice, pick one in there. There's that script book is amazing. I have it. I still use it. And have them out. If there's a script on there that's better for you than using the Ford, or you can incorporate with the Ford while you're on the phone with these people. And like I said, I can't stress this enough, but when you're in there and you're calling them, to make sure you're making notes in command, because it's really important. Because if you're calling them 4 times a year, then you can draw back, say, hey, when we spoke on such and such date, or when we spoke last time, you talked about Susan, you're getting a new puppy. How's that search? What happened? What did you end up getting? What did you, la, 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 la. And then also, in our business, we also want to be top of mind in like referring them to things, right? So once they bought their house, that's not the time to like, okay, I'm not talking to them again, right? For 8 years, like it said, you want to be in touch with them so that they know you're also that person to refer. If, okay, do you need your windows cleaned? You're going to need your house painted. You should probably have your house painted every 7 years. Hey, I have some great painters. If you need a contractor, if you're going to do any updating, if you're going, so you're having those conversations with them when you're talking to them. Hey, how's the new house? It's been, and like I said before, when I'm I send out cards, not just, so I do birthdays. I call them on their house, even their house anniversary. Hey, you've been in your house a year, how's it going? Oh, well, now that you mention it, my water heater is acting up. Oh, great. Let me, do this. Or if, here's another thing. When I help my clients, I recommend home warranties. I don't know how many of you do those, but for your buyers and the seller, it's beneficial because it's attached to that listing. So I had a home warranty on this one listing. And when the buyer came in and they did their inspection, they were in the crawl space and one of the main pipes in it had corroded and had a hole in it. Well, it turned out the nice thing about that is the home warranty covered that at no cost to my client, except for the $75 charge it took for them to come out and look and go, oh, well, typically, most people don't hang out in their crawl space, right? So I wouldn't know if I had a pipe. It was an older home that had a leak in it. So they didn't know that. So they said, well, you didn't know it. And it's not a place you're at all the time, right? If you're in your house and it's leaking under your sink, well, then that's probably not going to be covered by your home warranty, right? It might, but in this case, it was completely covered. They didn't have to pay the $1,500 to get it fixed. They paid $75 and it was fixed. So it can help, in those negotiations with your buyers and your sellers, especially when, when I have a listing, it's like, hey, I would advise putting a warranty on your home, because it protects in this, but then it's something that carries over for your buyer. So if your buyer, you represent the buyer and they have a home warranty, that's another reason to reach out to them, is if it's getting close to the end of that warranty, say it's 9 months or 10 months, hey, your warranty is getting ready to come to an end, that you can call that warranty company and you can extend that warranty for another year, right? So when that water heater does go out or it starts showing signs of going out, you can pay that fee, the $75 surcharge fee for them to come out, and they'll replace it for free. So it helps there, right? So now you're again coming from contribution. So, but let's see. Yeah, making sure you're definitely going to that compliance do not call list, right? So if you're cold calling, like I do Facebook ads a lot for my listings. And I get people, when they click on there, they give me their phone number. It's required. They give me their phone number and their email address. Well, even though they may be on the do not call list, they gave me that information. Now, if I'm reaching out to them and they say, hey, I don't want you to call me anymore, obviously I'm going to get, I'm going to eliminate them. I'm going to archive them and remove them from my database. But just be mindful of that. Okay, I don't want to scare you about it, but does anybody have any questions? It's 10:57. Anything? Any more ahas? Okay, so when you're getting ready to make your calls, before you do your calls, always say to yourself, it's kind of hard in here. It says to turn to the person next to you. Well, we can't really do that. So when you're getting ready to make your calls, say this out loud to yourself. I always come from contribution. People will welcome my call. Okay. All right, everybody. That's the end. All right. Well, thank you so much. Take care. And I wish you all the best. Hopefully I'll get to do a deal with you all.